All right, everyone, welcome. So today we are going to be modding Xtrfy MZ1 or Zeiss Rail. Fantastic little mouse, actually deceptively small. If we compare it side by side with this guy here, the S2, an S2 shape. Let's see, you can just see here. So from the front view, from the top view here, much different size, very interesting and weird shape in kind of a fun way. So yeah, we're gonna be modding this guy. I've got, let's see, we've got the Paracord for it. I've got some new side switches because the side switches are Huano or Omron or not nice. So the main clicks are GM 8.0, so I'm gonna do the same to the sides. And then of course we've got the classic core pads to put back onto the bottom. So yeah, should be fun. Paracord is another one of the melty ones, so not my favorite thing, but not the end of the world, so we'll make it work. Which does mean we get to play with fire. God, I wish I had like a Bic or something. I gotta buy a Bic or something. I'm sick of trying to melt things at this crap. Alright, so yeah, other thing is I'm gonna be trying, I've got a new overhead, which is my old cell phone. I've got a new front facing, which is my current cell phone. And then I've got the mic sitting up over there. So we'll see, I've got 3 different things recording. Hopefully everything's recording. I'm gonna do a quick recording check. I can see the audio's recording. I can see this guy's recording. Are you still recording? Okay, because last time the top one cut out on me and I was trying to do a keyboard mod video, and I still haven't gone back and redone them because I'm a bit salty about it. I've got to do some rebuilds and stuff. But yeah, let's dive into this one. So again, I'm gonna do my best to keep everything in frame. Definitely gonna turn down the background music because I've got my own listening to the Star Wars soundtrack right now, because of course, why wouldn't you? So we're gonna try to work in frame as much as possible. There we go. So I don't intend to reuse these skates. If you wanted to reuse them, you could use like an alcohol or lighter fluid to kind of soften the adhesive, and it would be reusable. Generally, I recommend if you're gonna be taking anything apart, just have replacements for the kind of stuff that may not come off cleanly. So in this case, we've got the skates, and like I said, I prefer these core pad skates. I think they're a very nice upgrade, very inexpensive because you get 2 of them for whatever the price is. Sorry, not good at remembering that stuff. I've had this stuff actually sitting around for a while. Sort of taking a break from YouTube and editing. If you weren't paying attention, or if I haven't posted a video about it yet, most likely the former. Most likely the latter. Most likely I haven't posted a video about it yet. I did decide to take a step back from streaming. I'm just gonna do these project videos from time to time. Life is just a little too busy for me right now, and I can't quite dedicate the time to streaming and editing and all that. So here we are. So we've got 4 screws to take out. I don't know how the lighting on this is gonna work out, but we'll see. So we've got 4 screws to take out, so let's do so. Use my plastic iFixit tool that's kind of falling apart. But you know what? It still works. So let's see, does that seem about right? That does seem about right. So the other things I'm gonna be doing, aside from the standard mods, I'm also gonna be doing some pretty drastic weight reduction. This is not a guide. If you want a guide, go check out like Bearded Bob or something. Someone who's done a lot of these and knows his stuff. I do not. I'm doing a fairly destructive mod for the first time, just because I kind of want to try it. Also, this is a used mouse, so I'm not like super heartbroken if I end up breaking something. That's on me. I'll try breaking something so you don't have to. And I apologize, my hands probably look gross and dry. I do moisturize them, but it just kind of, it's just how they get this time of year, unfortunately. There we go. So we've got our 4 main screws out. I believe it should pretty much just pop apart now. Yep, as it does. All right, always be careful of these little ribbon cables, or not ribbon cables, but these little connectors here, because as you can see, they don't give us a ton of space to work with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop the screws and take a look at these side buttons. I'm pretty sure they're Omrons. Bad side buttons, like they'd certainly work, but I'm just kind of OCD. If you're gonna put really nice like primary clicks, and like GM 8.0s are awesome. Like they're fantastic switches. And any, how best to describe this? Like here. So this guy, the HSK, which is still working, by the way. The only reason it's unplugged is because I had to undo the wire and I kind of this like cheap ass bungee situation going on where I had the, you know, I don't have a real bungee, I just kind of dangle it weird, so I had to take this all apart. But this guy still works. Anything that has like a hard plastic shell like this, I love the sound and feel of the GM 8.0s. And I still love this mouse too, by the way. I was using it the other night. It is awesome. Played some Apex with it, very enjoyable. With the 3D printed mice, like the Paracord mice or PMM mice, I definitely prefer the 4.0s because they're a little stiffer and a little more of a pronounced sound, especially for such a hollow and light design. So definitely going forward, 8.0s in solid mice, 4.0s in 3D printed mice, I think is the way to go for me, at least for what I prefer. So let's see, how's this coming out? It looks like, so obviously I'm being gentle because I've never taken one of these apart before, and I do not want to rip it to shreds and break it. While it is a used object and therefore did not cost me that much, I like this used object and I do not want to be destroying it. So there we go. I separated the top shell from the bottom shell where all the electronics are. So a couple things I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the diffusers on the sides here and here. Probably pull out the Rocket Jump Ninja logo. Doesn't really need to be there. Let's see, actually the viewfinder is going to be the best way for me to get an up-close view of this stuff. And ensure that anyone who has the misfortune of finding this video can see as well. So how's that all coming out? Looks like there's these little pins. Yeah, okay, so there's these little pins at the top and bottom. So I think I'm gonna have to take the main clicks off. See, now I'm just, there's no structure to this. Now I'm just finding stuff out. This is why you come to my videos, because you're bored and want to see someone who doesn't know what he's doing do something the wrong way and potentially break his own stuff, which is not an issue for you because it's not your stuff that is being broken. Is this just pressure? Oof, Star Wars music in the background. I am a sucker for Star Wars music. That John Williams knows what he is doing. Oh yeah, that's definitely just... So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to separate these two clips so that this center button can kind of pop out. Sorry, it's difficult for me to get that in the light. Yeah, is that really how that comes out? So... yeah, that's the... okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so... it's gonna be very hard to see your show in the photo, in the video, but there's two like, oh man, come on. Yeah, sorry, it's never gonna focus on this, so I apologize. This will not be clear to view. There we go. Okay, so this is the center DPI button. You can see it's got, let's see, so you can see it's got two holes. Those holes seed into those two pegs in there, and then the clips on either side hold it in place. It looks like just a pressure fit with the clips to keep it in place. Yeah, it's kind of tough to get your, because what I have to do is I have to get my fingers in there, pull the tabs apart, but then also try to lift it up away from the pegs, and it's kind of a pressure fit on the pegs as well. So let's see what else we got going on in here. Looks like if I can just go like this, and then I can. So I apologize if I get quiet again. This is just me kind of working through. All right, so it just pops out like that. So a lot of what I've seen has been like cutting out bits of plastic and whatnot. As you can see, most of this stuff is pretty minimal. There's not much to it. So I don't know that I'll be doing any of the really extreme trimming like that. I would like to keep it at least somewhat cosmetically put together, and I think like some people get rid of this top button. You know, that's up to you if that's what you want to do. I think for me, I'd rather have the button there but get rid of the diffusers. I do intend to trim off some of the LEDs. fact of the matter is, when my hand's down off to the side like this, using a mouse, I don't particularly care if that mouse is lit up or not. So let's see, how does this all, so it looks like we've got these two tabs. And how does the rest of this come apart? We are learning new things. Oh, I apologize. I'm trying to get a good view of this. Let's see. What else? Yeah, because I think this stuff all goes up and out, which means I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to figure out how do these main clicks come off. So, looks like, I apologize, I'm trying to find a better view of this in person as well, because it's actually very difficult to tell the various plastics segments apart in the viewfinder. Like, I can't really tell if, I mean, it must be the case, but it's difficult for me to tell if where the different pieces separate. So it actually looks like I can kind of pop this part off. All right, so it looks like this back part, there we go, is a separate piece. So then, is that where these clips come into play? Those clips are released. There aren't any other screws, so only clips I'm seeing. Are you a clip? You are a clip. Come with me as I learn how to disassemble a mouse. Is that a, yeah, that is a clip. So does this whole thing need to shift forward then? And I apologize again, pulling this out of frame. I am intending to try and make better recordings, but I'm also struggling with the fact that my eyes are not the best. Case in point here. So these are my glasses. You may notice the lens is so thick it actually sticks outside of the frame. So you can see, like, along the top there, along the bottom, it's barely even contained, if at all. So my eyes are certainly not very good. One side is almost fine. It's almost fine. The other side is very bad. And them in balance with each other just means I struggle to see things. Yeah, no, that's gotta be. Oh. And so I'm trying to get that tab there to pull this way, but it is a very stiff tab. Oh, it's kind of smarts on my nails, which are already destroyed. Ugh, let's not talk about it. Smears. All right, so I wonder then, I have an easier time if I snap this in and then try to release the front. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's the key. Okay, so push the tab in the front, and then you should be, I'm actually gonna be smart here. I'm not gonna use my nails on this. And you should be able to work this rear tab. So you can see there's a little bit of a lip here. I'm just getting my tool into. There we go. I'm just trying to pull it away. Okay, there we go. Okay, so once the top's off, this bottom part here, so that was sandwiched in between, that's why that wasn't coming on. So you can see there's little clips in there, you can see them moving. Once those are released, this whole segment is pretty much free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work it forward. Maybe. Let's see what I'm coming up against. Oh, there we go. So I need to pull it forward, and you'll see there's little, you can see that there's a little bit of like a cutout on the inside of the top there. You know, these pegs where it actually meets with the switch, and that kind of sits in these little pegs here. Okay, yeah, and there we go. Now we've got access to a couple more screws. This is probably all going to be diffuser stuff. That's probably not going to go back in. Does it matter how light a mouse is? That, yeah, I mean, lighter mice are generally more. What I found is, you know, you'll have a lot of people that'll yell and scream about light mice will make you have better aim. It's really down to the skill of the individual. If you give an individual who's really talented a brick, you know, with a optical sensor on it, they can probably still, you know, destroy you in game. the fact of the matter is it's way more about skill than the peripherals that you're using. That being said, I have personally found, as an IT person who spends all of their time on a computer, there we go, that just kind of fell out, didn't it? As an IT person who spends all of his time on the computer, the lighter the mouse, the less wrist pain I have at the end of the day. So, you know, I tend to prefer lighter mice. I also do use this guy, trackball. I try to be pretty diligent about using this guy during work hours. However, every once in a while I'm doing something where I just need to be able to move faster. I need to have some more precise, you know, movement, and I will switch to a mouse. So I like to just use whatever is gonna, you know, let me avoid wrist pain for as long as possible. And the fact of the matter is too, you know, as you get older, that's only gonna get worse and worse. So take care of your body now, because it's a lot easier to take care of things now than it is to fix them later. All right, so it looks like we've got, so this is gonna be very difficult to show into the video, but you've got these little tabs here for the next piece, the white bit. So we're going to try to release that. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's one. I felt it release. So I can get a shot of this one. Oh, that was tight, but I believe I felt that release. So these, oh, there we go. Some more shrouding dropping away. I don't know if that was meant to be another logo or what. All this stuff, you know, doesn't weigh much, but it also is kind of unnecessary. RJN, Rocket Jump Ninja, it's kind of the original mouse reviewer. I'm looking at here. Where's this one? Which way do these go? Oh, okay, just press that. There we go. So Rocket Jump Ninja, the OG for mouse reviewing. Really fun. His video, if you want to be entertained, watch his video on the, what is it? Not the HSK, but the G-Wolves Hottie S wireless. Good sense of humor, very funny to watch. But yeah, this is his mouse, it was his design. Fantastic, it's really cool and clever little mouse. I really like it. I think my only criticism is these guys right here, these Huanos. If you're gonna go through all the effort, let's see if I can get this out. These little guys, I'm always afraid I'm gonna kill as well. You can see I'm just trying to kind of grab an edge and... Does this have a... I'm always afraid I'm gonna rip these off the board. I hate... there we go, okay. So one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap these out for GM 8.0s. If you're gonna go through all the effort of putting 8.0s in as the main clicks, just put them in the sides. Like, charge an extra 5 cents or whatever it costs. Whatever. The scroll is fine. I don't feel the need to swap this out. So I'm gonna leave that as is. I'm gonna take off this guy as well, which is another point of RGB. Again, if you want it, you can add it. I don't particularly feel the need to have it, so I won't. And then I think it's just, yeah, it's just sitting on top of the little pegboard here. And autofocus on this works really well. So you can see this guy, he's screwed into the little post here, as well as just staying on top of this. Can I take that off? Probably not. There we go. That's saving weight. Look at that. A little speck of nothing that I pulled off. Whatever. So yeah, this guy's another little RGB, sits on a scroll wheel. Is it causing any harm? No. Does it need to be there? Not really, no. So I'm gonna get rid of it. And the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... Now, you can see, okay, if you look very closely, see if I can find an angle where it lights it up. Oh, actually, you can see it kind of better over here. The only traces on these little breakout bits for the RGB look to be 2 or 3 for the LEDs. So I'm fine cutting these ones along the sides off. I'm gonna double check with the Bearded Bob video, but I do see a lot going on in the front, which is what Bearded Bob also mentioned. He did not cut these front two. I probably won't either, just to be safe. I'll get rid of this back logo, because again, Doesn't really serve a purpose. And then, like I said, we're going to do the paracord mod. The stock cord. So the stock cord is really my only criticism of this mouse. It is surprisingly inflexible. So that's definitely going to be, I think, the biggest quality of life improvement will be just the ripping out of the stock cord in favor of a proper paracord. Again, no nice 3D printed ones. Unfortunately, they're not really being made right now, so far as I could tell. So we're going to be using the tried and true. I think it's actually Paracord is the name of the brand, but same thing that we used for the HSK here. Which again, it's just a lovely light little cable. So, which have now turned into a mess, but that is all right. So let's see. So I should just lift out. All right, there we go. Again, not really. Oops. Oh yeah, the switch. The switch I will keep in case I really want to. This little diffuser though does not need to be here. Ooh, hello. So there we go. Little diffuser that I pulled out. I apologize if that wasn't in view of the camera. Again, not trying to go wild here with the lightening of things, but like things like this, who cares? It's just, if it just needs to display a color, it can do it through a hole. Like, it straight up does not matter. Now that being said, I'm not going to go wild and like peel the stickers off and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it has stickers. All right, so let me get this guy out, which I'll do a little more unceremoniously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grip the back like this, kind of use that to support the pulling of with my fingers. What I don't want to do is just grab these and try to yank from like that, because that is a terrible idea. You can kind of supplement. You can supplement your fingers with the cable. I forget what these are called. They're like JST connectors or something. They are in there good. Okay, there we go. There we go. So the other little switch or something, I'll put that back. So I was doing there. It looked like I was pulling on the cables. I wasn't actually. You can kind of see little pressure points on my thumb there. I was actually holding on to the outer edge here and this part here. So definitely don't pull by the cables. That won't work. You're just gonna rip the whole socket apart. Pull by make sure you're putting pressure on, the cable is loose. Put pressure on the actual connector and pull the connector straight out. Definitely don't, off to the side, crooked, try to pull it as straight as possible. I've definitely had cases where this plastic shroud will rip right off along with the connector. And then, it's not the end of the world because you can still just slide the connector back onto the pegs, but it's definitely not ideal. So try to avoid it if you can. So good, they glued it on. Thanks, Xtrfy. How glued are we? We're pretty glued. Okay, so where do I want to start? I think I'm gonna do some bit of organization here. Order the things that came apart. The switch is probably gonna want to have access to the switch, so leave that in there. And let's see the button. Yeah, let's see. We'll leave the button in there because you still want to be able to use. So this mouse doesn't have software, so far as I've seen. So make sure that you keep all the buttons and switches in place, which is why I'm retaining the top button. You could pull the side buttons if you really wanted to lose the weight. Obviously I can deal without side buttons because I use the HSK, but if I have the option to have side buttons, I'm going to have side buttons. No, side buttons, they're useful. So let's see, so we need to lighten this, paracord mod this, soldering, desoldering. Oh, but desoldering should be a much easier venture because I got this lovely thing here, solder bucker SS02. It is exactly as nice as it looks on camera. It is all just this really lovely metal and just such a nice object. It's got a soft heat resistant silicone tip that is replaceable. They give you a whole tube of this stuff, so when this one starts to fatigue and loses some of its malleability, you can replace it. But the idea is that you heat up the solder and then you can press this over top of the soldering iron and whatever you're desoldering, get a nice seal, and really just all of that solder right out. So I used this, I actually had, so when I first modded this guy, I did it wrong, and I had to go back and add wires to fix the fact that I had basically ripped a pad off the board. So I had the company, Ponage, they don't offer the side buttons as a replacement by default from the store, like from the factory, but their support is awesome, and they ended up saying, you know, we don't offer this, but I can get you one for like $7. I'm like, okay. So I got a new one, and I redid that one, GM 4.0s. That one went perfectly because I wasn't a moron. But I had 4.0s sitting in a kind of a little breakout board, almost exactly like this, actually. So I already tested this on that, and it worked so well. It was so much easier than anything else I've ever had to do vis-a-vis desoldering. So why don't we start with that, because I'm actually keen to use this again. So let's get everything plugged in. Oh yeah, speaking of, for headphones, we are using the, let's see if I can get my shot, Moondrop Starfields. Beautiful, lovely headphones. They sound so good. They are so nice to use. I think really what I'm gonna end up doing with this channel is get rid of all the Destiny, well, not get rid of, but just won't be posting any more of the Destiny stuff. Never really went all that well. I think I'm gonna stick to mice, keyboards, and headphones and stuff. Got about 3 builds that I need to edit and post. So keep an eye out for that if you have any interest in keyboard stuff. But for now, I really did want to get this guy modded and ready to go. So this is probably the video that will go up first, knowing me and my brain. Okay, so we're heated up. We are loaded. I think probably the best way to do this. Yeah, will be, so put the solder iron in the right hand and do that like this. We'll see how in view I can make this, but I will do my best. But I'm going to be looking over the camera because I do need to see this. Oops, yeah, make sure, idiot, put your finger on the button. Okay, that should do. So I'm just waiting for the solder to look. This is actually very difficult to do on camera. Okay, there we go. And see what I mean? Look at that. You can already see right through the peg. I'm willing to bet that is almost 100% cleared. Let's see. There we go. You can actually see. Let's see if I can get it out of there. All right, well, it's in there for now, so that's fine. So it'll hold on to the solder for a little bit, and then after a couple of these, it will kind of eject it when I press the plunger down. So that's, I think, what I liked best. Is doing like this, because I'm kind of holding on to this little thing to steady it. These helping hands aren't as helpful as one might like. So let it heat up a little bit. Oh, another, see? Look at that. Look at how clear that is. God, I love this. There we go. So now we've got the little bit of solder. I'll just kind of throw that unceremoniously off to the side. And we'll go for 3 of 6. It cannot be understated how nice it is to have a good tool. This one I'm having a hard time seeing, I apologize. It is, so unfortunately the lens is right there, which is closer to this, which means it's actually very hard for the camera to figure out what I want it to focus on. So I'm trying to keep things centered, but also at the same time I just need to do the thing that I'm trying to do. So I apologize if this doesn't come through in video super well. Know that I am trying. There we go. Okay, so let's put this off to the side. God, remember all the videos of me struggling to desolder stuff? I think the part that irritates me the most is this tool wasn't even that expensive. I just didn't know that really nice solder suckers existed. So if you do soldering, if you do desoldering, and you're like, God, I don't want to spend $600 on a friggin' Glarce's gun, you know, a desoldering iron. There you go. There you go. Clear that guy. This was not expensive. I will post this. I don't remember what it cost. I think it was like 20 bucks, but this thing is lovely. I have no doubt that this thing will last ages because it's so well made. All right, so let's see. So if all went well, as you can see, that's pretty clear. There's probably a little bit off to the sides, kind of holding on to these pegs, but I think we should be able. Now, what we don't want to do is rip out any of these solder points. So I'm trying to be. Yeah, it looks like this one here's got a little bit. So I'm just gonna see if we can. That one I might need to revisit. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna play it cautious because I do like this mouse and I don't want to break it. And we are going to just give it a little heat and suck. Just make sure we clear that out entirely. Ooh, anything came out there, so. Ooh, Wrath of the Lich King soundtrack. Oh, so good. I'm not one of those people that aspires to the whole, like, if you're an audiophile, you have to like and listen to this kind of music. You don't. Listen to whatever works for you. But, God, I do love me some good orchestral music. And the soundtrack for World of Warcraft, especially the earlier ones, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm. Oh, I think it's, I want to say David Bauer, I want to say was his name. We do tangents here, I'm sorry. I'm not immune to tangents. I love a good tangent. Russell Bauer, sorry. Derek Duke, Jason Hayes, Neil Aker, Glenn Stafford. But yeah, Russell Bauer, I think, was the main guy who did the music. Oh, he's just killing it, and especially these original Wrath soundtracks. The one I'm listening to right now, I believe, is... Oh, that was a mistake. Oof. Smartest in that it hurts, not smart in that was intelligent, because it wasn't. That's why my hands are always destroyed. See, pay attention. It's the only problem is I get on tangents and then... No, I'm going to go throw a Band-Aid on that just because I don't want bleeding on camera, so give me a second. All right. Yeah, see, that's the problem with tangents. You get distracted and you're not paying attention. It's just idly fiddling with the thing, and here we go. Cut myself. But now you all know I am human. I bleed. And I do stupid shit. So yeah, maybe don't go on tangents if you're prone to hurting yourself there. All right, so just very gently lifting the switch away from. So what I'm looking out for is you see me kind of wiggling it. The reason I'm wiggling it like this is because it loosens up any little solder joints that are still connected. And also ensures that if I'm wiggling it like this, I'm not going to rip a pad out. So what I'm doing too is I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the PCB. There we go. To pull the switch away. And as you can see, this one had a little bit on it, which is what I was trying to clear out. But the pads look like they're in good condition. Thank God a real solder sucker goes a long way in making sure that things actually do what they're supposed to do. And it's super clean. So when I go, wow, you can really get in there. Hang on. How close can we get? Camera? No, too close. Yeah, I can't figure that out. Don't blame it. Sorry, I'm just screwing around with my camera now. My camera's my phone, so don't think you need any special equipment to start making crappy videos like me. That's actually super clean, so that's gonna be really easy to solder. And if we look at this guy here, there we go. You can see he cleaned up really well. A little bit bent because I was forcing it, but whatever. So yeah, Huano yellows, real cheap switches. I mean, they're cost effective. There's nothing wrong with them per se. I'll straighten this guy out later and add him to my pile. But you know, they're not bad switches per se. It's just I like consistency, you know, and I want to have the same feeling for the main clicks as I do on the side clicks. So yeah, let's finish our desoldering so I can turn the iron off so I don't desolder and resolder actually. Because yeah, I'd like to be done the burny peeny ouchie part. Although, as we can see, you can ouch yourself on anything. Maybe just be smarter than I am. So, let's get this back in frame. Let's see, and we'll just go same thing we've been doing. Try to get this all in shot. Back to Star Wars, because again, I am a sucker for Star Wars. Even the new movies, like I don't particularly care for the story of the new movies. I did like the characters back when they were actually like character. I didn't get enough time to melt. That's on me. Try that again. I feel like they didn't really give the characters enough time to develop properly and become as interesting as they could have been. But oh, the music is still really good. Ray's theme especially is a fantastic track. That should be melted by now. Let's see. That did a reasonable job. I'm gonna try and hit it one more time. And try to hit it from this side. And then Rebel soundtrack. Because again, more Star Wars. Okay, that one we might have to revisit, but I'm gonna keep moving on. I got some of it out, but so I believe this is the track where Kanan fights the Inquisitor towards the end of season 1. It's a lovely, really over the top kind of fanfare track. Oh, it's so much fun though. There we go. That one looks like that did a nice clean job. Yeah, that one looks good. And then last one. I apologize, this helping hands thing kind of sucks. I'm trying to hold the helping hands so it doesn't fall over. I'm also trying to get this in shot and get myself an angle on this so that I can actually do the thing. See how this goes. It's like juggling almost. Looks like it's running. Yep, okay. And then we're gonna try to give this guy one more hit, because I can still see him kind of connected here. I apologize, I know the camera's not focusing. I'm just gonna hope that the overhead gets a better view of this. It's one of those things that I can try 1,000 times to get the shot, get it in focus, or I can just get the thing done and move on. Okay, I think that's about as good as I'm gonna be able to get that one. Let's see. See, there's definitely solder in there. All right, we're gonna have to keep trying to hit that guy. I think what I'm gonna do is get a better grip from here. Do that. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, so I just realized there's actually a little, let me see if I can get that in view. You can see on the inside there's a little arm that when you depress it all the way will eject the solder. God, lovely design. I love it. Okay. Sorry, back on task. So let's see if we can clear that little bit of solder in there. So I'm recording all this in 4K. If it is in focus, I will try to zoom in a bit in the edit so you can kind of see what's going on. There we go. That got it. That got it. Perfect. Okay. So now, set this off to the side. So you can see now you should be able to pretty much see like black all the way back to the back. So you can see like that guy's really clear. That guy's really clear. This guy's mostly clear. He's got a little bit of a tab going on in there. I don't think it's enough to keep me from being able to work this guy out. So I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of back and forth. And I know it's gonna be hard for you to tell in the video, but trust me, like when I say it's wiggling. Let's see if I can get a shot there that actually shows. Yeah, I think you can kind of see that. It's wiggling separate from the PCB, so we're going to give it a little work here. I'm gonna try to move the peg away from the little area that's still soldered. So you can see there's a little bit of a spot on the top there. Actually, I almost wondered, can I'm just gonna do here, let's see if I can. Pick away at that. So I'm trying to clear that little spot at the top. I think I actually might have done it. Let's see. You can see it's wiggling pretty free now. Oh, it's hard to tell which end it's wiggling from, but there we go. So that's there we go. And then just boop, right out it comes. Again, a little bit of solder on the one side there, but if you've seen any of my other videos, you've seen me struggle with desoldering. This was so much easier than any of the other desoldering other that I've done. One thing that's nice about these boards is they'll often do a little, I don't know, it's a silk screen print, I forget what they call this, but they'll do a little print to indicate what goes where. This is for their guys at the factory, but it's really nice for idiot modders who don't pay attention to the orientation of the switch when they pull it out. So here we are, we got a pair of GM 8.0s. There's a nice little sale, so I bought these for cheap. And then you just make sure that you fumble everything as much as possible, and then just orient the actual switch with what the silk screen indicates. Make sure it's pressed all the way up against the board. There's kind of a little bit of a pressure fit, so it's actually kind of nice. As long as these guys are on there good, which they are. And then just as an added measure, go like this. You know what, I'm gonna do it smart. I'm gonna just do this one at a time. All right, so nothing crazy here. Just gonna get this guy back in focus, maybe. God, I really wish I had a nice bright light behind me, actually. No, because if I exit the camera app, it's gonna stop recording, and I don't want that, so we're just gonna leave it. Well, actually, hey Google, turn all the lights bright white. Yeah, I don't think that showed up in the video at all. Oh, it's worth a try. So we're gonna grab this guy, make sure we're still heating, which we are. And yeah, super straightforward. We're gonna heat up the peg and the pad simultaneously, and we're gonna melt some solder into it. So let's see if we can make this happen in a way that shows up well on the video. Hopefully, if all goes well. Nice, you should see that kind of nice conical shape. Looks good. All right, and keep going. Now if you have it end up beating on the pin, but not on the pad, I should give myself more of this to work with. If you find it beating up on the pin and not the pad, that might be an indicator that the pad has desoldered, or the pad is no longer present, which is not a good thing. That's probably means you've got damaged PCB and we'll need to seek out a replacement. There you go. This looks good. There we go. Yep, looks good. You see a little bit of that kind of oily residue that's actually just flux that's kind of in the solder. Flux is a magical mystery to me that basically just makes solder go to metal somehow through some witchcraft. I don't know. It's fantastic though. I love it. So we're gonna do the same here. We're just gonna use the helping hands to kind of press the switch up against the board. There we go. Just make sure I leave myself enough room to actually do the soldering that I need to do. We're just gonna easier if I'm trying not to hold the spool. See, not always smart. Yep, another one that looks good. So again, I'm touching the soldering iron against both the pin of the switch as well as the pad. Ideally, heat them both up fairly evenly so that they make a nice clean solder. Join, that is. Because you need the solder to melt against both. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So that's pretty clean for my work, if we're honest. But there you go. You can see when they've got that nice conical shape where they're kind of making equal points of contact between the pad on the PCB as well as the switch. And also when you're putting on these switches, you want to make sure that there's as little space. So you can see this side lifted off just a touch. Probably not enough to make a difference. That might actually just be the shape of the switch. But you want them about as flat and about as inline as they can be. Because these, the other ones desoldered very cleanly, it was very easy to do so because I could pretty much just press them into place and they were perfect. If you had a little bit of a harder time getting these to desolder and you had maybe a little leftover solder residue, these might end up being a bit crooked. Now the side buttons, they're pretty forgiving in the area that actually makes contact with the switch. So not a big deal if they're a little off center, up or down or left or right. But it's that kind of back forward spacing between the PCB where things can get weird because you might have one that sticks out a little farther or one that needs to be depressed farther. This actually looks like it's gonna be a pretty clean, just one replacement. So that's good. We're gonna unplug the soldering iron so we don't cause any more damage to our person than we already have. I'm just gonna wrap a couple things up and get them out of the way because ideally that is the last of the soldering that we are gonna be doing today. Because this one I actually trust to be the right connector. If you recall, or if you go back and watch the video of me modding the HSK, I did have to resolder the connector because they just sent a generic G-Bolts connector, not the HSK connector, which is much smaller. I wasn't thrilled by that, but it is what it is. I think unfortunately their system just said, oh yeah, G-Bolts, and just went running with it, unfortunately. Just it being a G-Bolts is not adequate, but I can already tell this is, yeah, gonna fit perfect. So I'm not worried about that. God, these kids are so nice. Okay, sorry. So pretty much all we have to do is plug it in and heat shrink, which is fine. So let's see. How are we going to mod this then? Make It Featherlight by Bearded Bob. I will link Bearded Bob's video in here. I keep referencing him. I am basically copying his work for my own benefit. But he does great videos, and I wanted a lighter MZ1, and he's the one who did it. So this is what it is. I will link his video in the description because he deserves the credit and or accolades for what I'm about to do. Which, for starters, we are going to just really just kind of hack right into this. I don't care. I don't care about the specific brand of my mice. The only mouse brand that I care about is PMM because dude is doing some awesome work and is very cool to chat with. And I've had a couple discussions with him. I believe it's a him. With them. They're cool, and I look forward to what they're doing in the future. Definitely go to Piranha Mods or PMM rather, and check out what he's got right now. He actually has a wireless version of the MZ1, and ooh, there we go. That guy looked like it just popped right off. I think, yeah. We disturbed it enough that it decided to give up the ghost. Yeah, a little plastic crap like this I don't care about. I don't need a logo Like, I mean, yeah, it's pretty thin and probably doesn't weigh that much, but it's just not necessary. Okay, so that's where the switch sits in. Let's see, how much else does he take off? I don't remember if he actually takes off. Obviously, we need the switch to still be there, but I don't know if he rips off any of the RGB. And apparently this guy here is 1 gram, so there you go. Not insignificant. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna copy what Bearded Bob is doing because he tested it and it works. So we're gonna just trim off these extra little bits. Oh yeah, I should do this in camera. We're gonna trim off these extra little bits of PCB. Trying to avoid sending them flying. So we're gonna trim off those. We're gonna trim off these, and these. Again, you don't have to do this, but I don't feel the need for them to exist. I don't think they add anything to the mouse. Oop, there we go. That one just went flying across the room. I'm just gonna double check and see how he does the sides real quick. Yeah, just flush. Yeah, it's just cut and flush, so I'll do the same. So yeah, it's one of those things that like, you could totally leave the RGB in there and it would be a nice light mouse still. But for me, and I apologize, I'm doing this out of camera in how I'm viewfinding things because I do actually want to kind of cut a fairly clean line, which it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. This side's gonna be a bit of a pain though, because this one's longer. Bye! Just make sure I find all those. We do let the boy run around in the office for once in a while. The one I'm finding one of these and being like, snack. There we go. There we go, nice and clean. Like I said, keeping the top 2 because there's many traces going by there, and I don't want to like lose functionality in the clicks or anything like that. So there we go. That is our lightened to PCB. Everything adds up. Does it add up that much? Just talk to someone else. Keeping the center click, don't care. It's just a modifier for sensitivity and stuff. Obviously keeping the control buttons on the bottom and control switch. So this guy is pretty much done. All that's left is to dump all of our buttons all over the place again. Probably lose a couple of them just for good measure. I'm not going to trim down this part in any way. I just doesn't seem like it's worth it. But I will obviously get this guy situated. So what I'm going to do is we are going to plug ourselves in. We're going to kind of let this cable do its thing. You can do it all off camera because you came here for a video, so why would I show you anything? Let's see, so we settle this guy back in. I believe the way that this wants to route. It was supposed to be wire, so I think what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to work back this shroud a bit. Let it be wire. So if I'm looking at this correctly, I want to say so let's see. Sorry, I'm kind of thinking this through and looking at things. So I believe this cable is going to want to be like down through here. I'm trying to figure out how much of this I need to work back. So let me get you forward a little bit. So kind of same as always. I'm not going to yank on the I'm not going to yank on the cables. I'm supporting the cables and just kind of lightly working this back. I'll probably end up working any loose bits back to the connector, the USB side, so that this side's not all bunched up. But that should be enough. So, and I apologize, the viewfinder is not a good way to do this because all the kind of dark bits hold the same. Hopefully the end video is not as dark as the viewfinder. Can I press those in? This actually very difficult to do. I'm just gonna kind of guess and check the positioning for now. So I'll just kind of tuck this under here. There we go. Okay, so I think around there. So I think that's about where we're gonna put things. Get this back to here. I think the way that I'm gonna do this one. So again, I'm just kind of checking the length of the wiring here, make sure I'm not putting the... I don't want to give myself too little to work with, but I also don't want to leave a huge bunch of cable inside the mouse either, so kind of just guessing and checking here. If I do it like about there, that gives me a little extra, but not too much extra. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna do this without lighting my desk on fire. There we go. I can probably shrink it a little more, and I probably will in a second, but I want to get this second piece of shrink down here as well. Do about to there. Don't know how well this is going to come across in the video. Hopefully not too bad. Okay, and then the final ring, just kind of like the main retention ring. I'm going to do about there, I think. I'd like to have a little bit sticking out, so. Let's see, now this one didn't really melt in a predictable fashion the last time that I was trying to do this, so let's see if I can do a little better this time. Be able to rotate it a little bit. I think. See it like walking on its own? I don't really like that. Can you like at least pretend that you're not sentient and that you're gonna kind of just do the thing that I place you in? This wire is so light, it wants to walk with my hand when I'm trying to reposition, but I'm not actually trying to burn my fingers off, so. Yeah, because you can see it kind of just melts. It's not super predictable. Yeah, I think that's probably good. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute and cool. Just chart the wires a little bit. Don't worry about it. It's all part of the appeal of these mods, right? To be slightly charred. All right. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna let that cool for a bit. I'm gonna kind of start reassembling the rest of the mouse while I do so. So set that off to the side. I'm just gonna make sure it's kind of up off the table so it doesn't adhere to anything, and yeah, we're just going to start putting stuff back together. So again, I need to make sure that the little pegs there we go, that they kind of slide in, and this should just press in. Perfect, which it does. And there's actually a little stopper, so even without the diffuser, you can see it still kind of comes to it's not going to like overextend. Let's see, this guy should just kind of press right back in, right? Yep, just kind of pops right back in. There we go. If there's anything crazy special going on there. Same thing with this guy. Again, if you were really getting crazy about removing weight, you could get rid of this button. You could trim some more of the shell to pieces. I just not super particularly interested in doing that myself. This guy should pretty much just press right back on. snap the back in, and then the front should just snap in. It's good. Looks like everything's pretty much aligning normally. Okay, good. So that's that. We can put these buttons back in. Again, I should be doing this in the viewfinder, but I'm bad at making videos. It's all good. We are learning how best to go about this. Let's see, I'm trying to get, there's this little tab. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this little tiny tab there by my nail that I gotta slot the edge of this PCB into. And it's pretty, oh, there we go, okay, there we go. So that's in there now. Just make sure it's pressed all the way. Just trying to see if there's any pre-travel that I want to try to tune out, but nope, the buttons. So what I like to ensure is that, and I apologize, this is never going to show up in camera, but you can kind of see, yeah, it's not going to be able to show up. Basically what I'm trying to make sure is that the back end of the button is, of the actual like chassis button is pressed up against the very, let's see, I'll demonstrate like this. So if this is the button, the blue part's the button, and this is the switch, I'm trying to make sure that the plastic of the button is pressed right up against the switch without actually activating it. So when I press the button, it just immediately starts activating on the switch. What I don't want is I don't want there to be an air gap between it, so I have to press the button of the chassis button before it actually makes contact with the switch. That's just a bunch of pre-travel that doesn't need to be there. The switch itself has some built-in pre-travel, so I'll just let the mechanics of the switch do the pre-travel. I just don't want like a bunch of space in between. So that's what I'm trying to ensure when you see me kind of just looking into the chassis and like pressing the button. I'm just trying to make sure that there is no pre-travel, and it looks like there isn't. So we are going to attempt to recall what screws go where. I'm pretty sure these are the screws that go in here. Looks good. Actually, I think I'm going to go to a slightly larger screwdriver because these are not quite as sharp as I thought they were originally. So a little bit of a flatter screwdriver be a good thing here. Just putting that all back together. I don't need any of those. Those ones are for the PCB. What were those ones for? I've got these guys too. I'm trying to remember. They look like the same size, but these guys are slightly larger. I'm trying to remember if maybe it's just a visual thing. Maybe they are the same size. Let me see. One is definitely bigger. Sorry, I gotta take this off camera for a second. Let me see if this threads in naturally. Maybe I got the screws mixed up. I also don't wanna... No, that threads in without any fuss. So I think these smaller screws were for another part that I'm already forgetting because I'm very good at this whole modding thing. But I think that was part of the shroud that the RGB shroud that I removed. I want to make sure that these side buttons are fully in there, so we're going to use these larger ones. Even though technically they're a touch heavier, I think they just make better contact with the side of the PCB here to hold everything in place. So, okay, that's good. Let's see, how's this looking? Yep, we're good, we're solid. So, I'm going to try to do now is throw around the switch so that I lose it. I know so much terminology being thrown around here, switches here, there, and everywhere. I'm trying to be consistent, but that doesn't mean I am, so I apologize. Okay, so that's gonna with that perfect. The switch is still in there, right? Yep, that's still working. Okay, so what I need to do now. All right, so yeah, I was just testing to make sure that there's that this part here was situated correctly, that this switch was still working. Everything else looks good. I don't think I burnt the scroll wheel or anything. Really paying attention. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay that down flat in view. And we're going going to try and get this straight up and out. And we're just going to try to get this cable routed as best we can. So I think what I'd like to do, which is going to be very hard for you to see, but there's 2 pegs here with just a little bit of room between them. What I'd like to do is get this down and through there. And it looks like the rest of the cabling can be run pretty loose. So let's see if I can. There we go. So this one worked a lot better. As you can see, the ring really fits into that little ring. The HSK was much more loose because it doesn't really have that retention in the same, like a same mechanism for retention. Ooh, okay. There we go. Get those. There we go. Okay. That can go over, ideally. There we go. That's what I was looking to have done. All right, we're situated. Our scroll looks nice and clear. Switches are working. Switches are working. Okay, cool. There we go. That's got a nice clear. Don't have to worry about interference because it's looping right back. So we are going to lock this PCB into place with screws. Lovely, lovely screws. I've said it once, I will say it again. This is a PCB, not a race car. You don't need to torque the screws down. Come on. Don't need to torque the screws down. They just need to be secure. All right, there's that. We are going to grab the top shell, get ourselves plugged back in. So if this wants to be like that, let's plug it in like this. There we go. And then this all should just kind of set right on top. There we go. All right, everything feels good. Let's plug it in and make sure that nothing horrible happened. All right, so I've got mouse and movement. Left click is working. Right click is working. I guess this should be back and forth, right? Back definitely works. There we go, and forward works. Okay, cool. I was trying to find a page that actually had a back and forward to go to. I'm so used to, whenever I'm navigating, I always just new tab everything. So it's like, yeah, there's nothing for you to go forward to. That was just a new tab that you put there. So there we go. We're going to get this guy back together. Oh yeah, you can see there's still, oh, interesting. The left click effect doesn't work, but the right click does. Whatever. It probably, there's probably a trace that got cut. Again, I don't care. Actually, what I can do is just turn the RGB off entirely. Perfect. There we go. So I still have one indicator RGB for like settings and whatnot, but I definitely don't need any of the rest. So there we have it. That is a majority of the, oh wait, sorry, I'm doing this all off screen again. Thank God for the overhead. The overhead's gonna save me when it comes to all this friggin' nonsense of me just doing stuff out of view. So we should have a nicely lightened mouse. Now, if I remember correctly, this should put it around 50, sub 50, I think, was what Bearded Bob was saying. I did not quite as destructive as he did on his like really aggressive mod. I did a little more destructive than he did on his just basic, like, remove the shroud stuff, so. Yeah. Still good. Back. Forward, yeah. Right click. Left click. Left click, hello? Yes, okay. So we're good there. Don't think I have any, is the DPI indicator not working? Maybe it doesn't do DPI. I'm trying to remember. There's the DPI indicator, but I think the DPI only adjusts if you don't have it in F11 mode. It's fine. I'll look up the settings for this later. I'll actually have to consult the PDF to make sure I remember what does what. So yeah, I'm just gonna minimize this, that I stop interacting with it accidentally. Oh, you know what I should do is, good way to make sure you're not accidentally clicking things. I'm just gonna clean off some of the leftover adhesive. These skates came off pretty clean. Just gonna make sure. Yeah. Yeah, these came off. These came off pretty clean, so that's a nice reprieve. We're gonna grab our new skates here. Yeah, come on. New skates. There we go. I'm gonna grab an alcohol pad real quick. Of course, you're at the very bottom somewhere. There you are. Do I use the alcohol branded alcohol pad? Oh, yeah, I bet that's really fun to have. It's always something that I'm missing for the actual install of the thing. Alright, so alcohol pad. I just kind of make sure I'm getting all the dust out of the corners there. There we go. Give it the whole mouse a once over. This is a used mouse after all. And while I don't think the person I bought it from is gross, they're still human. And humans leak things sometimes. Actually, they leak things all the time as you're counting skin cells and stuff. It's kind of gross. Anyway. Yes, didn't you come here to learn about anatomy? Don't learn about anatomy from me. I'm like the worst person you can learn about it from. But there we go. Give it a nice little clean over there. Add that to the trash pile. Trash pile, trash pile, trash pile. The trash. I'll put myself in there later. Let's see. Here we are. Final step is to get these guys on. I'm gonna start with the one that looks like it's gonna be the hardest to attach. Now, if you wanted to be super anal about this, and I'm gonna do this by eye, not by viewfinder, I apologize. You would probably use like a pair of tweezers or something to keep the oil from your fingers from getting on the adhesive. However, I find that getting things aligned is a little more important, and I find it much easier to get aligned using my fingers. There we go, we got one front one. Then I've got the two back ones, which, yeah, this one goes like this. Go. And then the final touch. All right, there we go. And that is a modded and functional. This guy's functional too. That's a modded and functional lightweight MZ1 Zeiss Rail. So really lovely little mouse. Looking forward to putting some time into it. It's got the proper side clicks. Yeah, really. If you get a chance to get one of these, they're not expensive. And keep an eye on them used as well, because there are a lot of people that are trying them because they want to try the weird shape and then are finding that it just doesn't jive with them, which, you know, no judgment if it doesn't. If the shape doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just not everything's designed for everyone. I find that these kind of weird and wonderful shapes that kind of force you into different grip styles that you're not used to, I find that they really work for me. So, you know, I still do some of my best in-game work with the Paracord S2. I still love this mouse, but every once in a while, switching over to a forced fingertip grip on the HSK, or went to more of a relaxed claw with the MZ1, very enjoyable. So yeah, variety's the spice of life, and stuff like this isn't terribly expensive, so this is a really fun way to get some variety. So yeah, these are my three main gaming mice right now, and as you can see, they're all, you know, they're all wildly different devices in their shapes and how you would grip them. So yeah, it's, you know, variety's fun. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your time here. there'll be more videos like this, probably a bit more sporadic than what I had been doing. But yeah, keep an eye out. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next. We've got some keyboard mods that I'm going to be recording. We've got some more. I'm trying to get a hold of a classic GPW to do some more aggressive, like I'm going to trim the shell and go wild with that one. But I'm trying to get a G Pro wireless to do that with. Maybe next super light, we'll see. Probably more switches will need to be modded in those as well. I've got about 3 keyboard build videos that I want to record. Maybe a 4th, we'll see. Probably just the 3. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next for a headphone mod as well. So there'll be some variety coming in the next few months. But yeah, the videos posting will definitely be more sporadic because I have to, get parts in, get stuff into mod. But yeah, if you enjoyed your time here, like, comment, subscribe. I definitely would love to hear what people would like to see next. So I hope you have a good one, and I will see you around.